This episode of Her Design, Her Story is proudly sponsored by Royal Oak Floors, the founders of engineered oak flooring in Australia. Elegant yet durable, practical yet luxurious, Royal Oak Floors have formed the foundations of inspiring Australian architecture and interior design for over 20 years, with flooring products that are uniquely tailored to Australian lifestyles. Royal Oak Floors is proud to announce the launch of 4 new colours in its renowned architect collection, the result of collaborative workshops in which design professionals shared emerging trends, unmet needs and evolving preferences in Australian interiors. We're proud to partner with a brand that values craftsmanship, sustainability and the stories behind every space. Explore the new colours at royaloakfloors.com.au. Arielle Lopresti is the co-founder and creative force behind the Low & Co hardware brand. With a passion for creating objects that feel both elevated and deeply personal, Arielle has built a reputation for blending functionality with aesthetics, crafting sculptural hardware that tells a story and genuinely enhances the design of any project. In today's episode, we'll explore Arielle's journey into design, the vision behind Low & Co, and the philosophy that guides her work. From balancing creativity with the practical realities of running a business to understanding how thoughtful hardware can shape everyday design experiences, Arielle brings a grounded and inspiring perspective to the design world. We'll also talk about the evolving nature of her business, launching into the US market, and the importance of authenticity in creative work. Arielle, welcome to Her Design, Her Story. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Sarah. So nice to see you again.
I know we were very lucky. We caught up recently in New York, which was very exciting and a bit of a treat, which I would love to talk more about shortly. But you are one of the co-founders of Low & Co, which is a brand that many of us have loved for a long time in the design industry. But what I think is particularly interesting about the role that you and Tegan have with Low & Co is you both had quite different careers before you came into the business you're in today. So I'd love to go back to the beginning of your career journey and talk a little bit around those first pathways for you when you left school.
Yeah, so I actually went to university and studied a Bachelor of Behavioural Science and Psychology.
Oh,
So
amazing.
I was quite, I know, very, very weird, different realm to design, but it was, it was great in the sense that it helped me, build on a lot of transferable skills, including, dealing with people and, learning about, personalities and different, skill sets that people had. And so I worked as a rehabilitation consultant for like 10 years, but probably 5 years in, I was like, oh, it's not really filling my cup in terms of like I had this creative side to my yearn for like my
Yeah.
career. So I went and I ended up studying interior design on the side.
Oh, amazing.
And then sort of a few years in, I sort of started doing a bit of work on the side as well as working as a rehab consultant. So I was juggling both at the time. And that's sort of towards, sort of probably 3 years into interior design, Tegan and I ended up, chatting about starting a business and doing something. We both sort of had that creative sort of side to us. So that's when sort of Low & Co evolved.
Yeah, that's amazing. So with that interior design, you're both in Adelaide? Is that where you were studying?
So I stayed in Adelaide.
Yeah.
Tegan went off and spread her wings and went to London and then went to Melbourne, but we were still in touch. So we met at school, we met in art class,
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
so I guess that's where we formed our, creative bond, if that
Yeah.
even makes sense. But, we both sort of like in our friendship group, we were the ones that sort of like wanted to like had more of that creative side to us. So
Yeah.
then she went off. We both obviously stayed in touch. We were both quite good friends still during that time. And then I still remember we caught up, we went on a trip to Bali together, and then that's when Tegan said, "We're moving back to Adelaide," and that's when I was like, "Okay, this is our opportunity to sort of start something and do something together in that creative world." Because we both sort of were ready to, like, we'd both sort of worked in that industry, our industries for about 10 or so
Yeah.
years, and we were ready to start something new.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And quite a big leap of sort of not a leap of faith, but, quite a big shift in sort of
Yeah.
identifying that you wanted to start a business.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it is like, so we both sort of, it sort of all happened quite. We both actually fell pregnant, and we're about to go on maternity leave when we launched Law& Co. So we
Yeah.
we literally had our
Busy. Yeah.
firstborns and then launched Law& Co. And it was all like this crazy, time where we were juggling being first time mums and having this new business. So but we were lucky enough to do it together. So, our firstborns were only a few months apart. Then we had our secondborns quite quickly,
Yeah.
who were only a month apart. So we were both in the world together. So I still remember packing orders in our back shed, having the baby monitor there, then, like, coming in, typing away, doing work,
Yeah.
feeding the bubs, putting them to sleep, then coming back, doing work. And it was just like, had them on this schedule together. And, I think, like, at the time, like, it was crazy, but I think it was actually, like, kept us sane and kept us,
Yeah.
able to do that journey. To have that together was really beneficial for both of us, because we're both sort of like, are the type of people who probably couldn't sit at home with the kids all day and,
Yeah.
like, have that sanity. And it was the beginning of Law& Co. So it was, that slow progress. So it worked really well, because we were able to just work a few hours and then, and then be mums, and then work a couple hours and be mums. So
Yeah.
the balance was really, it wasn't too intense at that time.
And having someone in the exact situation as well, probably,
Exactly.
you know, you can share the challenges, makes it a bit more entertaining,
Exactly.
less
Absolutely.
isolating.
I know, I agree. And I don't, like, I wouldn't have probably been able to do it without her. Like, I probably wouldn't have the courage to do it without her.
Yeah.
As much as I, like, had, like, always wanted to do something on my, even if it was on my own, I think I wouldn't have been able to take that leap without her. So yeah, she's my best friend and my, like, almost like a sister to me. So we're very lucky.
Yeah, that's
Um,
amazing. And often
I know.
people, you read sometimes about that idea of a founder or someone starting a business. It can be quite isolating for people. So it's almost the perfect situation where you've got that companionship.
It's quite funny. We've we've morphed into a very similar person. So, like, we will often wear the same things. Like, we will literally buy the same clothes, and she
Oh,
might have
that's
it in
so
black
funny.
and I'll have it in cream, or vice versa. And we'll literally rock up to work and we're wearing the same thing. It
Matching
happens,
outfits.
like, more often than you can even imagine. And we're just like, this is so weird. But it's funny. It's
That's good.
funny.
You're
And we love it. Yeah.
aesthetically aligned. Yeah.
Yes,
How did
exactly.
you, I know Tegan spoke to me a little bit around how you landed on hardware because I would love to touch on that further. I think a really unique offering, particularly in Australia. I remember when you launched, I was working for a Melbourne designer, and up until
Yes.
that point, it had been really hard to find not necessarily locally made hardware, but hardware that really spoke to, I guess,
The
global
design.
architecture trends and that ability to make pieces feel really unique. How did you come around with that idea?
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. We were both sort of doing our own projects. I was actually building my own house personally, as well as helping and doing other projects on the side. And
Yeah,
we just couldn't find really nice brass hardware locally. So we would have to often source it from overseas, the States, or, Europe. And we were like, hang on a minute, how is there nothing like architecturally, cool, or, a bit different,
yeah,
like, not in Australia? So that's how the idea came about. So we sort of started designing some things and, like, getting some samples. And I honestly, I still remember the day we saw our first samples, and I think we both had butterflies in our stomach. We were just
oh,
like,
that's amazing.
this is it. This is gonna be something special, because we both, we love, like, quality, and
Yeah.
we are very, like, we're both consumers, so we both knew exactly what we wanted. So I think we had, a good gut feeling that it was gonna be something that other people felt the same way about.
Yeah, and I also yeah, I feel like there's been quite an interest, particularly from clients in the last few years as well, as in supporting Australian design
Yeah,
product, which is incredible. Um, in terms of your business structure now, I know you've obviously both come to the business with quite different previous skill sets.
that's right.
How does that work in a co-founder relationship? Do you both sort of take on slightly different roles within the business
We
currently?
do, yeah. I think, like, at the beginning, we are both doing everything, and it was kind of like, yeah, we both. I guess we both had our strengths, but yeah, we're both kind of doing everything because we had to. But as we've built our team, we've been able to really hone in on our both our skill sets. So obviously, Tegan, coming from a finance background, um, has a stronger skill set and the back end stuff, whereas me coming from a more people background, I've sort of like headed up sales and managing, like the teams, and which has been so great because I don't want to do anything
Yeah.
finance related anyway. So
I'm like
I'm
you.
like, yes, Tika. I'm not, that's not the way my mind works at
Yeah.
all. Whereas Tegan's mind is just incredible, like in terms of that sort of skill set. So, and she doesn't love she definitely is very good at people, but and customers, but I'm definitely more the one who just loves it. And so we both are like equally appreciative to have each other doing what
Yeah.
we do. So yeah, I definitely deal more with, I like head up the sales team. I deal more with you know, um, organizing all the sales side of things, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we both come together with product development and product design. So we equally bring, the designs and everything that you see and touch and feel is an equal contribution,
Yeah.
which I love because we both bounce it off of each other so well. Like she will say, "What about this?" And I'll be like, "What about this?" And what about this? And then we come together, and it just we both like agree with everything. Like it's
Oh, that's
quite
good.
weird. We just both are like, "Yes, this is it." We both agree with it, which yeah, we can't.
Comes back to that aesthetic alignment, which is probably very
Exactly.
important.
Again, with the matching outfits, so
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
With your design process, I know having specified your product for a long time now, there are some really beautiful pieces which were part of that very original collection. I think the wonderful thing, obviously, with the hardware component is I feel like it's something that you can probably add to. You don't necessarily need to take things away. Is there sort of a process in terms of how many new designs you introduce a year? Because I imagine there's a bit of prototyping and manufacture to
Oh,
work through.
absolutely. I mean, the process itself is like much like longer than you would actually think. Like in
Yeah,
terms of, obviously coming up with a design, we draw it up, and then we send it to supply, get some prototypes, and it's just back and forth until we make sure it's exactly the way we want it. But in terms of like having, we just sort of, I think once one thing's designed, we just design the next thing and the next thing because it
yeah,
does take a while to get off the ground. And we are constantly evolving in our what we want and what we feel works in spaces. So um, we do keep adding. We do also, like, we obviously have our core collection, like you said, that we started off with, that is, still probably, more of the conventional stuff. But I think the fact that we've got that, and then we've got this ability now to be a bit more creative and, fun and adventurous is what I love about what we do now, because it's just, we can be a bit more, and people are embracing it, which I'm just loving. Like
yeah.
everyone's embracing a bit more of the more unconventional hardware pieces. So it's been so much fun in terms of, yeah, just being a bit more creative.
Yeah, and it's fun, is it, from that design side as well? I often find with joinery, people are looking for that way to make something feel quite unique or quite special, or even if you have to pare back on the design of the joinery itself. It's often that hardware component that can really elevate the
Exactly.
the design, which is really exciting. I know you've done some wonderful collaborations in the last few years as well, which is wonderful. And really, recently, I know I want to touch on New York shortly, but there were the beautiful new range from Smack Studio, and of course the pieces from Tali Roth. Is that something you
Yeah.
have sort of organically introduced into your design process as well? That
Yes.
collaborative approach? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we were actually approached by a couple of designers, and then we started thinking, well, this is from initially it was like more of a marketing, tool. We're like, oh, this will be really good to, benefit both brands and really, be able to see whether or not someone else can introduce something that we haven't thought of.
Yeah.
Um, then it's just been such a fun exercise with everyone we've worked with. Like everyone we've worked with have been so much fun, making us think a bit more, pushing the boundaries a bit more as well.
Yeah.
And like, I guess a lot of the designers we've been working with have asked for things that we haven't necessarily done in terms of finishes as well. So it's given us this opportunity to like reach out and source for different finishes, which we do, but it's like a bit more like, okay, this is what we need to do now to achieve the look we want to achieve. Like for instance, with Tali, um, all of the Tali range was made with cast molds,
Oh, wow, yeah,
and we
because 'cause they're
were able
quite
to
incredible
mold
shapes,
that with
yeah.
clay. Yeah, so we actually hand molded those pieces with clay
Oh,
and then
wow.
sent them to our factory, and then they cast that mold and made that design based on our literally hand molded.
I was wondering how some of those, I mean, they're the most beautiful pieces, but yeah, quite
I know.
complicated to draw, yeah.
Very, very complex, but, yeah, which was something we hadn't, like, sort of experimented with before, so, it's given us now more of an opportunity now to, like, even push it even further, so, that was so much fun, and Tali was absolutely so much fun to work
Yeah,
with,
she's
as well as, like, all the
very
other
fun.
people we've dealt with, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was good fun.
Oh, that's amazing. In terms of your suppliers, I'm imagining there's, a lot of, trust in that manufacturer process. How have you gone about
Yeah.
over the years? Have you managed to do you spend a bit of time researching new suppliers, or is that something you've managed to
Me
build
too.
up a relationship with over the last 10 years?
Yeah. We definitely have fantastic relationships with some of the suppliers we've dealt with from the beginning,
Yeah.
especially with our marble suppliers and yeah, and our brass. But yeah, we've just with the different techniques, we have sort of like spread our selves and researched quite a few new, manufacturers. So
Yeah.
it isn't an easy feat because you can imagine how many of them there
Yeah.
are out there. But it is we've definitely like we're so honed in on quality that that's been like the biggest thing from the beginning with us. Like we've been so um, focused on that and we don't sway from that. So, like we just make sure that the quality's there, the technique is able to be done, and then the finishes match. So it is a huge undertaking finding a new
Yeah.
supplier,
Yeah, I can imagine.
manufacturer, because obviously they have to match our finishes and we have to work with them really closely. But yeah, it's worth it in the end because then we get this, beautiful product and yeah, we can do lots of cool stuff with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I did want to talk, as I touched on earlier, I was very fortunate to be in New York at the same time as you and your team recently for the ICFF fair in New York City, which was wonderful. And it was really exciting. Your stand was an absolute like it's so gorgeous, and to me not biasedly but a real standout. It was really beautifully considered, and I think that that sort of almost jewelry quality to the hardware was really celebrated, and definitely a
Mm.
point of difference. How have you found that process? Has that been quite an organic growth for you into the American market?
Yeah, it we always sort of thought, once we, establish ourselves here and, we maybe we'll consider that later on. But then we did get a lot of reach out from the American distributors and American resellers, and they were like, and they contacted us and they were like, we want to have your product here. So that's when we sort of thought, okay, well, we'll start doing a bit more research and work out the best way to approach the market. Um, and then, yeah, so a couple of years ago, we launched our .com website, and that's when we sort of like start. And then we obviously exhibited at ICFF last year.
Yeah.
It was actually quite, I was very surprised by the response of the US market. I just thought in my head, New York, they're so cool, this would be another sort of like, just another booth that they walk past. But people were genuinely like, wow, this stuff is so cool. And I think I was just taken aback by how much they loved our brand, how much they loved the products, and
Yeah.
how much they embraced us. So it was so successful last year, and we thought, well, we'll do it again this year, and we'll also have an event, invite designers. And it was so incredible to see how many more people knew our brand this year, and we're like,
Oh,
oh
wow.
yes, okay, we specify you, we use you. Um, and how much they loved, well, the feedback we got was so lovely and so beautiful, like so incredible. And I still literally pinch myself. I'm like, I cannot believe that we're in New York. With our brand and our products, like, it's still like an incredible feeling.
Yeah,
But yeah,
amazing.
it has organically happened. But then I think the last 2 years we've sort of like honed in on that. It's just crazy to think like the US market is just so big. We just wanted to make sure we were prepared for that as well.
Yes.
From my perspective, you don't want to just throw yourself in there and then be like, oh wow, like now we don't have any actual product to
That
sell.
long lead times. Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure we were set up properly. Um, it COVID sort of was a good learning curve for us because during COVID, the supply and demand was so off. We were so busy, like it was a great thing because everyone was renovating their
Yeah.
homes. And like, so
I know it was a
like
funny,
we went,
yeah.
but then we weren't prepared for that. So it was a good learning curve for us. So I think when we were like ready to get into the US market, we're like, no, we need to be prepared. We need to make sure that we've got the supply, that we're set up. So we've got a 3PL set up in California now. So they stock all our products as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Um, yeah, we make sure we've just was trying to be very smart about it because we didn't want to have that same issue we did where, you know, it could have been something really successful, but then we've got no stock to fulfill all
Yeah.
those orders. So yeah, it's been a massive um well, so far it's been a great success. So hopefully it
That's
continues down that
exciting.
path and, you know, more trips to New
I
York.
know.
Ah, it was New York's just incredible, isn't it?
I know, and it was a great time to be there, actually. I felt, not only was the weather, you sort of feel that buzz with the weather, but it overlapped with all the art fairs. There was a lot happening that week. Obviously, we crossed paths at Kelly Atkinson's We Were Australian, where she was launching Rachel Donath
Good.
as well. So, yeah, I felt
Amazing.
there was a real sense of sort of positivity around a lot of the Australian design generally, which was really
Yeah.
exciting. I did want to
Yeah.
touch on your website actually. I think one of the great things, obviously, with hardware, it was funny. I was at another. There was a smaller show, Afternoon Light, and
Oh, yeah.
an
Heard
Australian manufacturer was there who does the beautiful flush plate GPOs. And of course, to get an electrical piece into the US market, there's a huge amount of
Mm,
rewiring and design and that kind of thing. And I was thinking, actually, I guess from a hardware perspective, it's an easier transition. But one of the things I love, and I remember when your website launched, it was quite unique in that you could buy the product directly. I think we were used to
mm.
having to go through these bigger, slightly more generic hardware stores. Was that something you were quite strategic about in terms of selling your product a bit more like not a jewelry item, but more like a sort of a fashion item? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think Tegan and I sort of like when we started Low and Co, we were like, well, how do we like to shop and how do we buy things and how do we
Yeah.
get sucked into the, like with beautiful things.
Yep.
I guess like so I guess it was part of our strategy to disrupt the way that traditional way that hardware was sold and was, displayed like historically. So, a lot of the hardware that you see, you have to go through a reseller, or it's, you have to go through and you have to go to a shop to buy it, or you have
Yeah,
to,
it
and
was
I
quite, or it was
get
quite
it. It is
trade focused.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly, but, fashion these days, everyone shops online. So we were like, why would we I mean, as long as you make it easy for the customer, you can buy, you can return, like you would a fashion item, because at the end of the day, they can't see it, they can't feel it, um, and they wanna see what it looks like in their space. So, as long as we do that and make it easy and make the customer journey easy, if we make our website look beautiful, like a fashion brand, or like you said, like a jewelry brand, as long as we make it easy to shop on and beautiful, then hopefully people will want to shop like that. And we will also want it to be accessible. So not like a lot of the other hardware brands was, you buy it, you got to wait 8 weeks, you got to, it comes
Yeah.
from this place. It was just like, it's in stock, it's ready to go, send it to you. You like it, beautiful. If you don't, send it back. Like it was,
Yeah.
and that's sort of the way, obviously the way we shop. So we were like, if we can make it easy for everyone, accessible, and hopefully, and then create beautiful things and make it look beautiful, then hopefully people will, want to buy our brand.
Yeah, no, I think that's been really clever. And I just also think from sort of a client point of view, often if I put forward options, it's a great website for clients to be able to sort of have a look through. I know
Exactly.
you've got the trade component to your website
Yes.
as well, which
Yes,
is
we do.
great from a design
Yeah.
perspective. But yeah, that's been quite interesting um, as well. So it's been very exciting to see. I know you've gone through a lot of growth and incredible development since you have started. Are there any sort of key next steps on the horizon for you guys? Any other
Um,
markets or
yeah, we sort of, I guess the US is so big that it's
yeah,
kind of like, it's like
a bit of a
we sort of,
readjustment.
the drop in the ocean was like, we started with LA, and so we started then focused on New York, and I think it's to continue to sort of like focus on those, key areas
Yeah,
that are booming. There's a lot of like amazing things happening in like Florida and Dallas, and like continue to expose ourselves in that market. So I think that's one of the things that we're sort of like, just sort of focusing on. Um, and then there's always a lot going on. We just new designs, new collaborations.
yeah,
Um, hopefully, collaborating with someone in the US, and sort of like building our brand organically. We've sort of do have resellers in Europe and Hong Kong, Dubai at the moment
yeah. Oh
already.
wow.
So
Yeah.
whether or not that builds itself organically, and then we'll see what happens. We
Well,
kind
that's
of
exciting. Yeah.
don't like to set us up to fail. Like we don't
Yeah.
want to go crazy and then not be able to, like I said, um, fulfill, our customers' needs. So
Yeah.
yeah, but there's definitely new products on the horizon. This year we'll be launching a new product range, which is a bit of a secret.
Yep.
And then later,
Sounds exciting. Yeah.
but it's aligned with what we do. And then hopefully in the next like year or two, we do have some ideas of some other things we would like to do.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really exciting. I guess in that idea of new products and collaboration, I am interested. Obviously, there's a lot of imagery and media and things around. I think one of the really beautiful things with your products is even some of the more unique pieces feel like there's a really timeless element to them. Are there any sort of
Mm.
key ways that you find inspiration to look for new designs, or is it a sort of ongoing
It
process of
definitely is.
yeah,
Yeah. It's an ongoing process. I think it literally can be the clasp of a bag or an earring, or we're traveling and we see like a building and the way that, like there's a way that something's designed, or
yeah,
we're constantly, we're not, s- it just comes to our forefront of our, like, of our, face, like
yeah,
something will just stand out. And I think Tegan and I, we have this like really like our attention to detail for those sort of things is just really like, well, how do I even put it? Like we're just, yeah, we're always like, even when we're shopping fashion from,
Yeah.
like clothes, like it's like, does that button look like, what is the button like, and how does the material feel, and how does it fit, and what's the fit like,
Yeah.
the attention to detail on pieces, we replicate that in our hardware. So we always does it look nice, obviously, but does it feel nice?
Yeah.
Does the shape is the shape unique? Like, how does it look? So yeah, we're constantly seeing things and they just sort of pop out to us, and we'll send each other so many, you should see so many screenshots between the two of us. We're like, what
Oh,
do you think of
that's
this? This could
good.
be a cool this could be a cool handle. This
Yeah.
could be a yeah. So it's just constant. There's nothing, we don't even follow trends. We're just kind of like whatever we see that makes us feel like it could be something beautiful on a cabinet. We're like, yep, that will
I
do.
love that though. I sort of feel like that's what gives your brand that unique quality. It's not it's really, I mean, at the end of the day you sort of have to trust your taste and your judgment.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, Sarah.
that unique sense to it. But I look forward to seeing your new collections. Tarly's was certainly
Thanks.
wonderful. So no, that's very exciting. I did obviously earlier we touched on having children and working, and I think that's really inspiring that you didn't let maternity leave or anything hold you back. How does that juggle? I guess if your children were born when you launched the business, there's probably this wonderful sort of overlap where they've always known Low and Co as part of their lives. How has that evolved over time for you with children getting older? I guess that juggle's always there.
Yeah. The juggle's there. I think part of the reason Tegan and I both wanted to start a business was so that we have that flexibility to
Yeah,
um, be a mum and, you know, and be be involved in our families' lives. And for me, that's always my priority. And I guess, so, I will still do school pickup every day. I still take the kids to all their sports.
yeah.
I'm secretly that mum on the sideline that, is always really into it. Um, that's
That's great.
my guilty admission. Um, I absolutely love it. Like I love being a mum first and foremost. And like, at night I'll get on the computer and do my work after they go to bed. Like it is part of being a business owner and being a mum, I think. And to be honest, we have the best staff that work for us. Like we went to New York and we had a whole team holding down the fort here. We are so lucky.
Yeah,
Um, we have treated like their own, and I like will get emotional thinking about it, but they are the best. And
yeah,
we are able to do both, but then equally, if our staff have a sick child or, need to leave early, we're like, go for it. Like that's the priority for everyone. So yeah, I always was very much like I want to, I think working in a culture where, you give and take, you have that flexibility, you can, support your family, but also work hard. I think that was really important and something I really wanted to create.
yeah,
And I think because of that, we've got this amazing group of staff who honestly would do anything for us and we'd do anything for them. So we have been very fortunate in the sense that we can
yeah.
leave and pick up our kids, and they're still there working, but then we'll come home and get on the computer later. So it's been really um, not easy, but it's definitely been oh, we've been very lucky. That's all I can,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
but
what I
I
can,
guess all the
yeah.
hard work in those first years, no doubt,
Exactly.
in
Yeah,
working out that
absolutely. We didn't have
structure.
staff in the first years. We were,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely doing it all
yeah.
on our own. But then I still remember our first staff member was so good. She's still with us. She's
Oh, that's
amazing.
amazing.
And yeah, and she was like, you can do things like this. We're like, oh, like we were learning from her, and it was just
And
like it was the best
it
thing.
can
And
be
I
hard. I'm a terrible delegator, and I feel like if it's something that's your business and you've started it, I think having that trust and
Oh,
stuff. But having
100%.
that longevity is amazing as well.
Yeah, she's yeah, and yeah, 10 years this year for Long Coast,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's hard to
incredible.
believe. So, yeah, yeah, you said our kids have kind of grown with us.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
they've
I think
known.
that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's so nice. But yes, we've been able to achieve. I think we've been able to achieve the balance, which has been really great.
Yeah. What's how big is your team at the moment? What does your sort of team structure look like?
Yeah. We've got I think we've got about 33 staff
Oh,
at the
wow. Okay.
moment. Yeah, and that's across, we do everything in-house. We warehouse in-house. All our marketing team, we've got our sales team, finance team, we've got, but yeah, so it's a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, that's very exciting. Well, I'm very excited to see what comes in the next year for you girls. I know certainly a lot of hard work and it was wonderful. It was really exciting to see all your product on show in New York
Thanks.
and very exciting to be able to visit you there as well. Before we wrap, I just wanted to jump into the her edit questions with you.
Okay.
Can you remember the first design related purchase you ever made, like an artwork or a piece of furniture?
Oh, good question. Oh, that I'm trying to remember. Probably, my painting behind me, the Claire
Yeah, it's
Kerr cup.
gorgeous.
That was my, like, first purchase that sort of like, yeah, in was yeah, probably my but yeah, we love vintage finds and probably going overseas, I bought a bit of artwork as well and a few sculptures and yeah, that's been yeah,
And you
something
had
else
that
that I probably
wonderful artist recommendation in New York whose work is
oh,
absolutely
I know.
breathtaking,
I can't
Danielle
believe you went and
McKinney.
saw
I
her.
know.
How
It
gorgeous is
was
it? But
funny.
yes, not the scale I
I
expected,
know.
but
It was funny. We were walking through Chelsea and some of the art galleries are quite intimidated, like these huge architectural,
yeah.
spaces, which is quite interesting compared to a lot of the galleries in Melbourne. And I saw her work in the window and I thought, oh, that's the piece that Arielle was talking about. They're absolutely beautiful. But apparently Beyonce had bought quite a few of them.
Oh, okay. See, this is the
I
taste.
know.
This is the quality
We're
of
like 2
taste that I
years too
mean.
late. Yeah.
Oh,
They were
wow, that is
absolutely
gorgeous.
stunning though. They're absolutely
Yeah, that's
beautiful.
hilarious. That yes.
I know obviously you've just come back from New York, but do you have any next travel destinations, actual or aspirational?
Europe is always on my list of
Yeah.
where I want to go. I love traveling through Europe. I think because the history and the architecture and the
Yeah.
culture and everything, and being my family's background is Greek and my husband's family's background is Italian, so you always get this like sense of sentimental value when you go there.
Yeah.
But we are going to the snow in July with the
Oh,
kids in
amazing.
Queenstown, New Zealand, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
So I've never been skiing before, so that's the
Oh,
next thing on
really?
our list. But
Queenstown's beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm scared to ski.
No.
I'm like, oh my god, this is. I'm
They've
scared
got
I'm
good
going to
at
break
prey
something,
there. It's all right.
or do something. But yeah. So yeah, that's the next thing on our list of things to do. But yeah, Europe is always. I'm always like, when can I get there next? When am I going to do? What am I? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's always so many different places you can see. So I love Europe.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Favorite creative icon, living or legend?
I would have to say at the moment, it does change, but at the moment, I still love Kelly Wearstler. Like I
Yeah.
still look to her for so much inspiration. I love that I love her interiors, but I also love her products that she creates. Like I love that she does both. And yeah, yeah, she's definitely an inspiration to me. Yeah, I think she's so cool. She always looks
Yeah.
so cool. And
Yeah, she
yeah,
does.
um, yeah, she does, doesn't she? I'm like, oh, I love those boots that she's wearing, all those, like the way she's done her hair. But yeah, I probably I love her. All the how she does all the. Did you go to? You didn't go to LA. Rachel did. Like the how
No.
she did all the proper hotels.
Yeah,
They
that
all are
the
amazing.
one in Santa Monica, I've been into that one. It's
Yes,
absolutely
we stayed
incredible.
there. Oh my god, it's so
Yeah.
good, isn't it? But yeah, I think yeah, she's really cool.
Yeah, no, she's a good one. Final
Yeah.
question. If your style was a celebrity, who would it be?
Oh my god, I forgot that you're gonna ask this, and I haven't thought about it. Oh my god. Oh,
It's a
well, I
hard
don't
one.
know. Can I say Kelly Wearstler? Just
Absolutely.
to
She's a good
can I just
all-rounder,
see her,
Kelly Wearstler.
channel her? I like how she's just edgy and cool. Um, Definitely not too pretty, but just yeah, just like yeah, I would say Kelly Wearstler then. I'll
Yeah.
just use
No,
that
that's an excellent
again.
choice.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
so much for your time today, Arielle. It was wonderful to catch up with you, and I look forward to speaking to you
Thank
soon.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.